Imagine you're walking down a busy street, rushing to get home after a long day, when suddenly a faint voice stops you in your tracks. Give me the leftovers, and I'll tell you a secret. That's all it took. Just one sentence. One sentence from a frail little girl sitting on the pavement, her clothes torn, her hands trembling, her eyes far too old for her young face. You wouldn't scroll past a story like this, right? So stay with me until the end, because this story might just change the way you see the world, and if it touches your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, so together we can spread more stories that matter. The man, whose name was Armin, had been carrying a paper bag filled with leftover food from a restaurant. He wasn't usually one to give much thought to the homeless. He always told himself he had his own problems to worry about. But those words, so strange and haunting, made him stop. He turned and looked at the girl. She was no older than 11 or 12, her hair tangled, her face smeared with dust, yet her eyes held something powerful, something he couldn't ignore. Armin crouched down and handed her the bag. "Here, eat," he said, trying to hide the awkwardness in his voice. She snatched it, not out of greed, but with a strange grace, as though even in hunger she carried pride. She opened the bag, inhaled deeply, and before taking a bite, she whispered, "Thank you. Now, do you want to know my secret?" He almost laughed. A secret? From a starving child? But something inside him, maybe guilt, maybe curiosity, made him nod. The girl began eating slowly, savoring every bite as though it was her first meal in days. Between bites, she spoke. "My name is Nina. And I used to live in a house, a real house, with walls and windows, and a mother who sang me to sleep. But one night, everything burned down. I was sleeping, and my mom ran in, coughing, crying, trying to carry me out. She pushed me outside before the roof collapsed. But she didn't come out." Her voice cracked, and for the first time Armin saw the tears brimming in her eyes. He was frozen, the noise of the city around them fading away. "I've been on the streets ever since," she whispered. "But the secret is this, I never stopped believing that one day, someone would stop, not just to feed me, but to listen to me. Because I don't just want food. I want to be remembered. I want my mother's love to be remembered. I want someone to know I existed." Armin's throat tightened. He had never thought about it this way. To him, charity was always coins in a box or a meal given without eye contact. But here was this girl, reminding him that behind every hungry face was a story, a soul. He sat beside her on the cold pavement, not caring about the stares of strangers passing by. "Nina," he said softly, "I'll remember you. And I'll tell your story." For the first time, her lips curved into a faint smile. "That's all I ever wanted." But Armin couldn't leave it there. He couldn't stand up and walk away knowing she'd be back to sleeping under streetlights and begging strangers tomorrow. Something inside him shifted. He took her to a nearby shelter, talked to the caretakers, made sure she had a bed, warm clothes, and a chance to go to school. At first, she resisted, afraid of being abandoned again. But Armin promised her he would visit. And he kept his word. Weeks turned into months. Nina began to laugh again, to read, to draw pictures of her mother surrounded by stars. And every time Armin came to see her, she had a new secret to tell. Small stories about hope, about how the other children in the shelter became her new family, about how she dreamed of becoming a teacher one day, so no child would ever feel invisible like she once did. Armin realized that it wasn't just about rescuing her, it was about rescuing himself. For years, he had been living a life of routine, numb to the suffering around him. Helping Nina reminded him of his own humanity, his own ability to make a difference. One evening, as he left the shelter, Nina called after him. "Armin, uncle. Do you want to know my last secret?" He turned, smiling. "What is it?" She grinned, her eyes shining. "You didn't just save me. You saved yourself too. And in that moment, he understood. Sometimes, the smallest voices hold the greatest truths. So if this story touched you, remember Nina's words. Don't just give leftovers. Give your time, your heart, your ear. Because sometimes, all someone needs is to be seen, to be remembered. And maybe, just maybe, that will be the secret that saves not only them, but you too. If you felt something today, like this video and subscribe to the channel, because together, we can keep sharing stories that remind us of the power of kindness, and the secrets hidden in the most unexpected places. Armin couldn't sleep that night. He lay awake staring at the ceiling, hearing Nina's voice over and over, "Give me the leftovers, and I'll tell you a secret." He had seen countless homeless children in the city, but this one had pierced straight into his chest. Her pain wasn't just hunger. It was loneliness. The next day, as promised, he returned to the shelter. Nina was sitting in a corner, trying to write something on a torn piece of paper with a dull pencil. She looked up, startled, but when she saw him, her face lit up. "You came back. I told you I would," Armin said, handing her a small notebook and a set of colored pencils. "I thought maybe you'd like to draw or write your secrets in here."